eh? Yep. I'm a real thoroughbred Cape Townie. En toe gaan bly ek in die noorde.
That's where I come from all the way. Born and bred in the north.
Now I are staying in the north. Only joking. Lovely. Cape Town's a great place. We all know that. The best city in the world. I mean, chosen by some of the best newspapers and publications in the world as the best city in the world.
Well, this is going to be 8 laps of an interesting race. I can tell there. Here we go. Donadio into position. Alongside him, Brian Evans, an all Mark 1 Escort, row 1. Then we have Fords on row 2 as well. There's a Capri, the Lucky Strike Racing Capri of Martin Bench. And to me, I think so far the driver of the day, Wynand Nel.
For sure. No, well, difficult to say because behind him there is a man that's just as quick.
Yes.
Just as quick. Bruce Tablin. That Toyota is just something. Look, Bruce and the Toyota sleep together at night in the bed. They're one. They are one. I'm telling you. I know these things.
Well, I'm of the same, because I also raced a Toyota in Gymkhana. So
not necessarily. I'm not talking the brand. I'm talking the car.
Oh, the
Bruce
car
and Bruce Taplin and his car are one. They are one. Lane Hutchings there in the HSC, the Hutchings Service Centre, in the old factory VW colours.
That is correct, from the late 80s, early 90s. John Round, of course,
yes.
Terry Moss, Chris Aberdeen,
yes.
You name them, they were all there.
Yep.
And Lane Hutchings in an 8-valve Mark II Golf ahead of his old man in the 1800cc VW Sirocco. There's Adams Foyun in the GTA Alpha. Also put in a great race in race 1. The 325 of Robert Rowe. In, of course, the Martini colours, the BMW in Martini colours. There's a CRX of James Mattia into position now as well, followed by Neil Mouton getting that Alpha Julia into position. It's going to take a little bit of, adjusting, a little bit of shuffling, but he'll get it in there, shimmy his way in. Dave Rowley in the 917, baby 917, as I call it, the Beetle, flat 4 racing. A little air-cooled engine in that Beetle. And ahead.
You know what makes that Beetle so fast? It's got a Porsche 911 fan on the back. A pucker Porsche 911 fan behind that Beetle motor.
And then there as well is, we have Bradley Rowe in the BMW 2002 2i. And of course that is the turbocharged Beamer. Lovely little motor car, those 2002s. We spoke earlier on about a man who raced a 2002 for 27 years, of course, Johan JB Pretorius. And of course we saluted him today, and he'll be it's so strange going downstairs and actually not seeing him sit there, because we got so used to seeing him around Killarney always with a big smile on his face, even when he wasn't racing.
Well, for those, and I say this now with tongue in cheek, and I want to say this in a very nice way, he's got free live stream today.
The best.
No? No, he won't pay.
He won't pay. And what happens is, let me tell you one thing, he's got some good company up there too.
Oh, yeah.
Real legends. To join a legend himself.
Yeah. They're all sitting around the shoebox and having a look on. So we into the final heat of the Classic Cars, the Laude Classic Cars. A big shout out there to Clinton Lawrence from Laude Classic Investment Cars there in town for sponsoring this class, which has turned out to be a very, very exciting class for the year of 2023. Also was for 2022. I'm very privileged to be involved with them at some stage, and what a great bunch of guys. It's absolutely a family thing, and I can tell you something for nothing. We've got a small field here. But wait now till October when the full fields come out. There's a lot of new driver combinations. Not new drivers, old drivers, new car combinations coming to the fore. I know of a lot that's happening in that section at the moment.
And that's always the beauty of seeing Class X as well, Francois. Always some old drivers in new cars, old cars with new drivers.
Speaking of that, where's the Richards Golf?
That is actually a good point. I didn't see that bright red Mark II Golf out there, and Lane Hutchings had a great battle with that Golf. Scanning the field, there is unfortunately no Ian Richards out there.
We also got no Kerry Blows out there in the 260 Nissan. or the Datsun 260Z.
But I thought I saw the.
No, it
the
wasn't.
Datsun.
No. I also thought I saw it, but I see Craig is out there. Now, I take my hat off to Craig, who's come out. It's his first time out in the Datsun, and he's doing both heats. He doesn't care where he comes. The fact is that he starts and finishes, and he's completed, and he learns what it's all about. And there is absolutely no better way to learn than in the wet. No better way.
Howling wind as we have now, and they'll gingerly make their way down to the turn 5 section, Pertamina Fastron. Some of them have the windscreen wiper on, or wipers, sometimes just a mono wiper, a sole wiper. But we'll see them as they come around now, Francois. It's going to be 8 laps of some very, very tasty racing.
Yeah, some of the guys on slicks, some on intermediates, and some on wets. It's not raining now, for what it's worth, but it's wet out there. So an intermediate can help you. A slick, well, you've got to be a real meister, the likes of Franco Donadio. And if you've got wets on, well, it's going to be to your benefit. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, they're right up towards the line. I'm going to wait for the lights to go on. The lights go on. They're going to go off. And racing. Off they go down towards holes. Turn number 1. Who's going to get the whole shot going down there? It looks like it's Franco Donadio. Coming down to turn number 1, Franco Donadio, it's Brian Evans, and Martin Bench sticks his nose in there with a Capri. Oh, man, has built up a bit of gumption. Martin Bench sticking his nose in there with Brian Evans hanging around the outside. Evans and Wynand Nel, 4th place. And here comes Bruce Van Taplin, and giving it a good thump up towards Castrol Corner is Bruce Van Taplin in the Corolla, but it looks like Wynand Nel's going to stick it up on the inside. If I was Bruce, I would have closed that door in his face. Boom, just like that. And Lane Hutchins hanging in there for opportunity.
Yeah, trying to push his way through. Lane Hutchins and Martin Bench has spun it on the exit of turn 2.
Martin doing himself no justice.
Well, unfortunately, he's going to have to wait for everybody to come past now, Francois, because he has to have a safe passage back onto the circuit. He'll find himself behind Dave Rowley, the Beetle that's now at the near tail of the field. There is Craig Blows, who's just getting himself started there to try and catch up with the rest of the field. But after that, it looks like everybody else has made their way through, as Bruce Van Taplin now is ahead of Wynand Nel, just a little bit further down. And Wynand Nel is fending off from Lane Hutchins. Lane Hutchins really putting in an early race performance here.
Lane Hutchins, and it looks like it is Trevor that's pulled in there behind him as well. Wynand Nel might not have wet weathers. This is what he thinks, and he doesn't have, so he's on slicks, so that is why those that have maybe wets or intermediates might have the upper hand on him, and he's fighting with that angler to keep it onto the circuit. But hats off to his approach.
Well, he's now in the Hutchings sandwich, and the Sirocco will be coming to make a move on him shortly as well. But here comes Franco Donadio. He started his 2nd lap of the race. Brian Evans still holds it there in 2nd position at the moment, whilst Bruce Van Taplin in the Toyota Corolla leads Class B and is 3rd overall, ahead of Lane Hutchings, who's the Class C leader at this time. Just going a little bit further down, just to tell you about the leaders in classes. Robert Rowe in the 325 BMW currently leads Class D ahead of James Mateer in the Honda CRX, 4.6 seconds, and then Bradley Rowe in the BMW, of course the 2002 in Class X, currently leads that class at the moment. Martin Bench back in the race though.
Now have a look at that dice there between Wynand Nel and Trevor Hutchings. Wynand Nel, if he's on slicks, he's driving this thing absolutely beautifully. And well, just keep an eye there. There's Lane Hutchings, there's Wynand Nel. Stays ahead of Trevor. He's keeping the door closed. He doesn't allow Trevor through. Coming up towards us now. And there we go. That's Bruce Van Taplin. Then it's Lane Hutchings. Then it's Wynand Nel. Then it's Trevor Hutchings. Then it's going to be Ernst Fillion. And then Robert Rowe.
The only man actually with headlamps on is the Sirocco actually of Trevor Hutchings, who finds himself at the moment in 5th position in the number 71 car. Bit of drops on the camera lens, but they'll be making their way now towards the line to start another lap. 6 laps left to go here. A fastest lap of a 1:42.601 for Franco Donadio, or Donadio I should rather say, and it goes from 6.8 seconds now, as the gap Bruce Van Taplin comes through, closing up the gap to Bruce. It is Lane Hutchings now. Wynand Nel, despite not being on wet weather tyres, doing a mighty job here to keep Trevor Hutchings at bay.
Wynand Nel doing a sterling job. Takes Trevor Hutchings goes deep in there and he's found himself in the kitty litter, and I'm afraid he's going to have to really try and get out there, but he's going to battle because it's an absolute damn squib. Well, he does rally cross, he can pull the car, he knows how to do
That is a good point, actually. Him and Lane are very accomplished motocrossers, but it's quite a crosswind over there as well into turn one. Thankfully, he got out of the sand and back out onto the circuit behind Arends Viljoen, and then, of course, the BMW here that looks like
Robert Rowe.
He's going to take the corner. I thought he was just going to drive off the circuit onto the runoff.
He's giving Trevor Hutchings the space to operate in.
How nice of him.
Isn't it? That's what happens when you're chairman of the club. You let the people come past you. Anyhow, on screen there, Dave Rowley, the head of John Ray Boertes. That is like two iconic motor cars, a Beetle and a Skyline GTX 2.8.
Yep, Sabat Skyline, and that, of course, you see a lot of on Facebook as well, along with the blows. But Jean-Andre Boertes, yes. Oh, and we have just coming out of turn 5, Pertamina Fastron onto the rumble strips, those rear tyres just sticking out there a little bit of a fishtail. Meanwhile, a little bit more conservative from Brian Evans here, who keeps that second place at the moment in the 441 machine.
Bruce Van Taplin there fighting it out with, it almost looked like he was ghosting on the screen with the water on the camera, working his way through. Craig Blow stays out the way there for Wynand Nel. Nel coming through. Wynand Nel there in the wet weather, having a look-see who's up behind him. That is Arends Viljoen, who's now head of, that's right, because Trevor went off obviously, so Arends Viljoen has moved up. He's now in 6th place. Bruce Van Taplin, I'm telling you something, is having a day to remember, and that in the wet, in that little Corolla. And while he's driving that Corolla, I actually saw a Corolla, just calling in Frank Yerlis there quickly, the Pink Panther, Mr. Dave Repsol, remember that Corolla around Killarney? That was frighteningly quick. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I also remember that.
And then there was another pink Corolla that used to run clubmans around here, Mr. Mark Dakin. What an animal. Mark Dakin.
Dakin, you never know anymore. I think it's the pink.
It's Mark Dakin. He actually went over to Canada. His wife got a job there as a nurse. Well, they reside in Canada now. But he was absolutely, him and Stevie Wonder Wyndham used to give each other absolute hell here at Killarney.
Also a man who actually used to race conquests in Group N as well, the Stevie Wyndham, and
he rode everything.
All kinds of things.
He rode Mondeos in touring cars. He did everything. Rally cars, the works.
Man, we don't get too much of nowadays anymore, unfortunately. But we, of course, go 5 laps to go as Donadio crosses the line. Another fastest lap, a 1:41.76 for him. And the gap, of course, will be growing here, as Brian Evans has decided to take maybe just the more conservative route here. Nothing wrong with that. But look at this now. It was about 1.7 seconds the last time around between Van Taplin, Class B leader, and Class C leader Lane Hutchings. Let's see if that gap has changed somewhat. Let's see them as they come across the line. It is now going to be, let me just see, it's still 1.7 seconds, so it's staying constant at the moment.
Byron, if I may intercede here, I'm having a look at Bruce Van Taplin closing down on the back of Brian Evans. There's a whole new kettle of fish here.
4.9 seconds now.
Yeah, no, not so. It's getting smaller, because there goes into Castrol Corner goes Brian Evans, and right behind him is Bruce Van Taplin, and there's Lane Hutchings. So
this could end on quite an interesting note here. Remember, this race has still got 4 laps left to run, including the one we are currently on at the moment.
This is it.
Donadio, I should rather say, leads from Brian Evans by 21.7 seconds. Bruce Van Taplin closing up the gap to Brian Evans, with Lane Hutchings coming with him. Wynand Nel still holding 5th place at the moment, 3rd in the Class C, or 2nd in Class C, I should rather say, ahead of Arends Viljoen, who's 3rd in Class C. And Dave Rowley is off of the circuit, off into the middle of the circuit, off the Joubert Straight. That is unfortunate.
Well, he's parking the car. Looks like he wants to come back. No, I think he just ran a bit wide. He's back. He's back.
Or he had a penchant for some rally crossing, maybe. You never know.
Yeah, this is true. One can never tell.
You never tell. There's so many activities here to do at Killarney. You don't know which one.
It's almost like you get your attention drawn off the circuit. Oh, no, you can't go. Go back. I'm glad we can see the Yumi in something. It was probably a little bit nerve-wrenching, but nevertheless. Right, let's have a look going down into turn number 5 for our viewers at home. Trevor Hutchings and Aaron Viljoen having a good fat squabble. And Trevor coming back from a run-off earlier on. It's up on the inside, front-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive GT Junior Alpha. And very much the same on power. There's a Rose car that they're going to go past. And they work their way up the main straights. There's Wynand Nel. Nel still down in P5. Trevor Hutchings now ahead of Aaron Viljoen. Trevor Hutchings again search of Wynand Nel, because he was originally ahead of him. So it looks like he wants to reclaim his prize.
Well, there's about 5 odd seconds between them. Aaron Viljoen will drop to 4th place in Class C. Ahead then, Trevor Hutchings will go back up onto the podium of Class C. Martin Bench fighting his way through the field now in that Class C Ford Capri now is 9th at the moment, so quite a bit of work to still do just to get up closer to where he was earlier on. James McKeer has crossed the line in the Honda CRX, and then Jean-Andre Boertes will be ahead now of Dave Rowley, who ran wide on the Joubert straight at the moment. Martin Bench is going to go now into turn 2 at this time in the Ford Capri, so turn 2. And he's right on the tail there of Robert Rowe at this time. So we'll watch them as they come now out of turn 2, through the kink, and towards turn 3. As I can see they're just ahead of them. That's the Bradley Rowe BMW, and then just behind them is the Robert Rowe BMW with the Capri of Martin Bench.
Right, so going over the line just now was Franco Donadio. But coming out of turn number 5, here's something that's making me get a little bit excited. Here's Brian Evans, and not too far behind him, Bruce Van Taplin together with Lane Hutchings. This is going to be special going towards the end. And Bruce is not hanging around, as he's going to go dive there. There you can see on screen Brian Evans. There's Bruce Van Taplin, not too far behind him. He's right there, and so too is Lane Hutchings. And this is the fight for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Yeah, 2.3 seconds to be exact now between Van Taplin and Evans, and then reducing the gap to 1.3 seconds between himself and Van Taplin was Lane Hutchings. It looks a little bit more now over there. Yeah, they come into turn 2, and it's much closer this time now, but he's only got this lap and the next lap left to go. Does Bruce Van Taplin, and that, remember, is the 3rd place man overall, the Class B leader who wants to go for 2nd place overall in this race and overtake Brian Evans, who is the Class C leader at this time.
Yeah, I know, Bruce doing a good job there chasing the back end of Brian Evans. Evans is not going to want to let him come through, but I can tell you what, Bruce has worked his way closer, shows that he's got the pedal to the metal. And having a look here, there's a bit of a dice here between James Mattia and Jean-Andre Boertes, but here comes your leader. It's his final lap, that's Franco Donadio.
1:37.623 on his last lap, the fastest lap of the race there, Francois.
Oh, Franco Donadio lighting it up here because the track sort of drying out. Still a bit damp squib out there, but it is drying out a bit. And going down into turn 5 for the people at home. Lane Hutchings there behind Brian Evans as Bruce got past him. Let's have a look. Oh, look at this. Bruce Van Taplin has got ahead there of Brian Evans. Man, has this guy been riding the wheels of this Corolla as he makes his way down on the final lap. Well, I'll tell you something. Lane Hutchings now is going to be chasing Brian Evans. But Bruce Van Taplin, this has to be the drive of the day. If we see, he's really doing fantastically well.
And Brian Evans, remember, currently leads Class C. Lane Hutchings is 2nd in class. He's looking for the win in Class C today, and he might just get it. Yeah, they come now towards turn 2. Bruce Van Taplin will extend his gap ahead of him now. On the inside, on the outside, there will be Lane Hutchings. On the inside will be Brian Evans. And here comes our victor now. Franco Donadio will be coming into turn 5, Pertamina Fastron corner. And all he needs to do now is keep it on the black side, but he's still let the back end step out just a little bit because he's having all the fun in the world. Here he comes towards the line now. The Mark 1 Escort wins once again, and he does it as he puts a lap there on Robert Rowe's BMW.
Right, going down the back straight now. Bruce Evan Taplin. It's Brian sits up there behind him, and then it's going to be Laude Hutchings. So they make their way down towards turn number 5 down the back straight. There you see them on screen coming towards you. And Bruce Evan Taplin in that 69 Corolla works his way down into turn number 5. Brian Evans sits up there behind him in the Ford Escort Mark 1. They come out at turn 5, fast on corner. The checkered flag is beckoning, and I tell you what, this is a great drive coming out of Bruce. This man can really drive well, but Brian Evans is sitting there and dogging him, and they're going to come up towards the line. Is Bruce going to bring it? Oh, Bruce brings it home. Bruce Evan Taplin second, third Brian Evans, fourth Laude Hutchings. That was what I call a proper drive.
And let's watch out now for Wynand Nel that will come along and take a very confident 5th place. I'm actually going to say, I know Bruce Evan Taplin did a great job today, but Wynand Nel, my driver of the day here for this class. Here comes Trevor Hutchings on a fight back. He gets 6th position, and of course 4th in class, I should rather say. Wynand Nel gets 3rd in class. Adams for Yun will be the man 5th place in class in the Alpha GTA, 7th position. And then Martin Bench, also a comeback kid here. Martin Bench will get the Ford Capri home to the 8th position. Also in Class C, Robert Rowe will take the victory in Class D, ahead then of Jean-Ray Boertes, who will be 2nd in Class B, 2nd in the Class for D. It is going to be Dave Rowley ahead of Neil Maton, the only Class E classified finisher. He crosses the line. Bradley Rowe will win Class X in the BMW 2002 Turbo. And then Craig Blows, don't forget about Craig Blows in that 510 Datsun. Big thumbs up for that young man as well.